And I think we've done that so far, and we just kind of want to keep it moving.
Yeah, that preseason poll had us dead last in the ODAC. Is that something that Coach mentions in the locker room, or is that something that you guys even pay attention to?
He does. He wanted us to know. He wanted us to realize that the other coaches, the other teams think that we were going to finish last. They didn't take us seriously, and now hopefully they will.
Yeah, so playing with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Sure.
And I want to talk about specifics here. There's a win against Hampton-Sydney, our conference rival, a win against Guilford, a tie against a great Virginia Wesleyan team that we may have lost 8 goals. Which one of those means the most to you?
I definitely think the tie against Virginia Wesleyan. I know it was just a tie, but what people have to understand, it was the first game of the season, away from home, and we didn't believe in ourselves just yet. And after that game, we do, and I think others are turning heads as well.
Yeah, and some of the viewers that are watching that may not know a lot about soccer, because you don't tie in a lot of other sports.
Right.
What does tying mean in the game of soccer?
Well, not many people want to tie. You get 3 points for a win in the conference. You get 1 point for a tie. So for teams that thought they should have won the game, it seems like you're losing 2 points. But for us in that game, we gained a point there because we weren't expected to win that game. It's a long battle, 110 minutes, to end up tied with only 1 point. But for us, that was a big point.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I look at the roster, I see a lot of new names. And as I watch the names, I see a lot of new faces. You're a junior now, so you're a veteran on the team. How is it that you teach those younger guys, or what is it that you give advice to those younger guys about?
Well, you really just try to give advice on the field, but they're going to learn whether or not you give that advice because the game's coming fast. It's mostly off the field, how to handle classes, keep their class schedule under control, and on the field play just comes with it. Once you're focused outside of the field, you're able to focus on the field as well. So that's where I try to give them the most advice.
And talking on an individual level now, last year, the beginning of the season, your sophomore year, you came out really hot. I interviewed you on the radio, actually. You said your goal was to get 8 goals that season.
Mm-hmm.
You got 5, am I correct?
Yep, that's right.
And now this season, you're struggling a little bit. 0 goals on the year, but we're seeing a lot of team success. How do you handle sort of this up and down career?
Well, I mean, that's just kind of the life of an attacking player in any sport, really. Good spells come and go. This is particularly not so great a spell. We have more players on the team. Time is split a little more. I think it's great. Players are picking up my slack, and hopefully I can contribute a little bit before the end of the season.
Yeah, and I'm sure that brings a lot of competitive nature in practice. There's a lot more guys coming for your spot. If you could just talk about that competitive nature in practice and talk about maybe the inter-squad rivalries between maybe a freshman taking your spot.
Sure. There definitely is a competitiveness at practice. Nobody wants to lose their spot, especially not to a younger player or an underclassman. But it's always good-natured rivalry. We're a team before anything else, and if a player's going to go out there and do a good job, you want that for them.
Okay, now I want to get away from the individual aspect. We got a lot more soccer to play. We're 2-2-2. That means we've only played 6 conference games.
That's right.
And I'm sure we're looking at making the ODAC playoffs. What is ahead for this WASP squad?
I'm not really sure.
Well, what could you say you could tell the younger players? You have to have a short memory in losing. We've had some past seasons that have not gone our way. I'm sure there has to be a short memory in winning as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to put the wins behind as well as the losses because there's more games to come, no matter what. So we can't keep big heads or we can't keep our heads down. Either way, we may not make the tournament, so we just gotta keep pushing through.
So is our pregame strategy more of a looking at the playoffs and looking at the big picture, or does Coach take a more game-by-game strategy?
I think it's definitely a game-by-game strategy. If we look at the big picture, we may lose sight of each minute or each half that we play. So I think it's important to put everything we have into each half and game. And if we do that, the results will come, and eventually the result will be the ODAC tournament.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ODAC play left. Now on a lighter note, I know last year you said you had some superstitions that you follow. You weren't eating the hut. Is that still a process for Zach Quest?
It's still around. That's right. I don't eat the hut before games. Just a mental thing. Keep it away. Practices sometimes it's necessary because athletes on campus are tight schedule, so the hut is sometimes a necessity.
And is there any other superstitions that may come into play this year?
Very possible. Another big win on the horizon may see some superstitions arise.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming on the set today, Zach. Congrats on the success, and good luck in the future to keep the success going.
Thank you so much.
I'm Kevin Ansberg. He's Zach Quest. That's been the sports interview. I will now throw it over to McFarland Murph and the sports update.